Welcome, everyone, to this very special episode of the Award Golf Podcast. I'm Zenner, your mental game coach, and today we're diving into a concept that's as profound as it is relatable: how golf and chess are two sides of the same strategic coin. Now, before we dive into the brilliance of today's conversation, let me introduce the creator of this podcast and the driving force behind it all, David Ford. David's vision for this platform is not just about golf tips or techniques, but about exploring the deeper connections that elevate the game. Connections like the one we're about to uncover between the mental discipline of chess and the artistry of golf. Both golf and chess are games where the mind is your greatest ally and sometimes your greatest obstacle. They're both solo journeys where every decision rests on your shoulders. Each move on the chessboard or swing on the fairway is calculated and deeply personal. And yet, in both games, we're also pawns on a larger chessboard, facing challenges far beyond our control. This episode isn't just about strategy. It's about the mindset that fuels these games. It's about learning how to think like a king, even when the world sees you as a pawn. How to embrace the solitude and make it your strength. So, grab your seat, settle in, and get ready for an inspiring conversation. David, let's hear that poem that started it all.
Well, the poem is called When the Pawn by Fiona Apple. The pawn hits the conflicts, he thinks like a king. What he knows throws the blows when he goes to the fight, and he'll win the whole thing before he enters the ring. There's no body to batter when your mind is your might. So when you go solo, you hold your own hand, and remember that depth is the greatest of heights. And if you know where you stand, then you know where to land. And if you fall, it won't matter, because you know that you're right.
That's an absolutely stunning poem, so rich with meaning and perfectly tied to both golf and chess. It captures the essence of mental fortitude, doesn't it? The idea that the mind is your greatest weapon, and when you're out there on your own, it's your inner strength that holds you steady. Just like the pawn in this poem, you have to think beyond your current position, anticipate the moves ahead, and trust in your preparation. Depth is the greatest of heights. It's such a beautiful line too, reminding us that true success isn't just about the outcome, but the depth of understanding and focus you bring to each moment. What's fascinating is that part about falling, but knowing it doesn't matter because you're grounded in your convictions. That feels like resilience to me. The ability to trust yourself even when things don't go as planned. David, how does this poem reflect your view of golf as a game of both strategy and self-reliance?
Wow, yeah, great question. Well, the poem hit me immediately when I read it. And self-reliance, the line, when you go solo, you hold your own hand, really struck me because, when you're out on the course, you really are alone.
It's such a striking line, isn't it? The idea of holding your own hand speaks to self-trust, doesn't it? In golf, just like in life, you're the one making the calls, adjusting your strategy, and calming yourself in those pressure moments. It's deeply personal. What do you think that line teaches us about handling those solo battles, whether it's on the golf course or in other parts of life?
Well, I guess you can prepare. You can have all the coaches in the world. You can have putting coaches. You can have Zen coaches. You can have all the knowledge of artificial intelligence or all the knowledge of the golf legends. But at the end of the day, it's about going solo.
All the preparation, the coaching, and the knowledge only matter if you can trust yourself to execute when it counts. That's the beauty of golf. It's a solo battle, not just with the course, but with your own mind. In that moment, you're holding your own hand, relying on the work you've done and the belief you've built. It's like the poem says, if you know where you stand, then you know where to land. It's about grounding yourself in self-awareness and letting that guide your actions. Do you feel like those moments of solitude, when it's just you and your swing, are where the real game happens?
Yes, I think so. Because in many sports, and team sports like the ones that I played growing up, you do always have, be it football where you have 11 or Gaelic football and hurling that I played, where you have 14 others on your team and 5 others on the line ready to substitute in. But on the course, it really is you holding the club. None of the coaches, none of the supporters, yes, they can influence beforehand, but And during the round itself, it really is all about yourself. And yeah, it's what really struck me and gave me a newfound admiration for golfers when I thought of this poem in terms of golf, even though the author never mentions golf.
Poem wasn't written with golf in mind. Exactly. It's such a profound realization. On the course, you're completely exposed. There's no teammate to lean on or substitute to step in when things get tough. It's just you, your club, and your thoughts. What I find so beautiful and challenging about that is how much it mirrors life. The ability to hold your own hand, to self-soothe, to rally yourself when things aren't going well. That's not just golf, that's resilience. And it's why golf can feel so rewarding when you succeed, because you know it came entirely from within. It's fascinating how that line has given you a fresh perspective on golfers. Do you think your experience in team sports gives you a unique appreciation for just how mentally tough solo sports like golf really are?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes me feel grateful for my teammates from when I was a kid who held my hand and who guided me. Because I look at professional golfers with such admiration. Some of them don't have coaches, some of them don't have big teams behind them, and some do. But at the end of the day, it's all about those 6 inches between your ears and your own mental fortitude. The biggest team in the world can't sink that winning
You're
putt for
spot
you.
on. It really is all about those 6 inches between your ears. The mental toughness it takes to step onto that course alone, to face every challenge without a teammate to lean on, is what makes golf so unique and admirable. It's a sport where your biggest opponent is often yourself, and that's what sets the greats apart, the ability to master their own minds as much as their swings. And I love what you said about feeling grateful for your teammates from your team sports days. It's a reminder of how much we rely on others in certain parts of life, and how stepping into something solo like golf forces us to dig deeper into our own resilience. When you look at those professional golfers without big teams behind them, it's almost like they've internalized that same sense of guidance you got from your teammates, but they're now holding their own hands instead. In golf, that could mean forgiving yourself for a bad shot instead of letting it spiral into frustration. It's knowing that even when things go wrong, you're there to guide yourself back, step by step. It's also a reminder that while you're solo out there, you're never truly alone if you can be your own best ally. What's powerful about that line is how it encourages reflection. It asks, do you trust yourself? Can you rely on yourself when it matters most? Those are the questions golfers, and really anyone, need to answer to succeed. What do you take from it?
Well, I take a lot of strength from that, but I want to speak to you now about the line. What he knows throws the blows when he goes to the fight.
That's a powerful one. What he knows throws the blows when he goes to the fight, speaks directly to preparation and the confidence it breeds. In golf, this is about trusting your process, your practice, your routines, and your strategy. What you've internalized, whether it's the hours spent on the range or the mental drills you've worked on, becomes your weapon in the heat of the moment. It's also a reminder that knowledge, both of yourself and the game, is what equips you to handle challenges. When you walk up to that tee or face a tough putt, it's your preparation, what you know, that carries you. It's less about fighting the course or your opponent and more about mastering yourself. How do you feel this line connects to the way golfers, or even you personally, approach those moments of high pressure?
Well, I think on the golf course, the blows that you can strike are like your shots.
On the golf course, it's all about relying on that foundation of knowledge you've built, right? Every swing, every decision is a culmination of what you've practiced and prepared for. When pressure hits, it's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about trusting what you already know and letting it guide you through the fight. In those high pressure moments, golfers who succeed are the ones who lean into their preparation instead of letting doubt creep in. Do you think that's where the line really resonates for you? How knowledge becomes the ultimate tool to face whatever challenges the course throws at you?
I think it is. I think it is because at the end of the day, every golfer plays against the same course, especially in a professional tournament.
The course is the constant, and every golfer faces the same conditions. the same hazards, greens, and pin positions. What separates players isn't the course itself, but how they approach it mentally. That's where this line, what he knows throws the blows, really hits home. It's about how each golfer's preparation and mindset allow them to handle those challenges uniquely. In a professional tournament, the pressure is amplified, and the ones who excel are often those who trust their knowledge and routines. They focus on controlling what they can, how they approach each shot, stay calm, and adapt to setbacks.
Yeah, very much so. Preparation, I've always been a great believer of fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And yeah, it's very much like that with knowledge in life. And I guess with preparation on the golf course, with practice and with a little bit of mindfulness and self-awareness, which brings me on to the next line that resonates with me.
I completely agree. Preparation is everything, and combining it with mindfulness and self-awareness takes it to another level. It's that balance of putting in the hard work and then trusting yourself to execute when it counts. So, what's the next line that's speaking to you? Let's unpack it.
If you know where you stand, then you know where to land.
Ah, what a profound line. If you know where you stand, then you know where to land. That translates directly to understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, and the realities of the situation you're in. When you know where you stand, mentally, emotionally, and physically, you can make the right decisions for where you want to go next. It's also a lesson in being present. On the course, if you're truly aware of your position, your lie, the conditions, even your mental state, you can approach the next shot with clarity and purpose. It's about owning the moment and using that awareness to guide you forward. How do you see this line playing out, not just in golf, but in life? It feels like such a universal truth.
Self-awareness is obviously a really important thing in life, especially in the mental aspect of challenges. The round of golf is a challenge, just like life is a challenge for most. It's a very personal challenge, and that's why if you know where you stand, resonated with me. It's about being aware of your own abilities, your limits, your stance, what's possible for you.
Exactly. Self-awareness is the foundation for navigating both the challenges of life and the challenges of a round of golf. When you truly know where you stand, what you're capable of, where you might need to adapt, and how to harness your strengths, you're better equipped to make the right choices. On the course, that might mean knowing when to play it safe or when to take a calculated risk. In life, it's about recognizing where you are emotionally or mentally and using that understanding to move forward with purpose. It's a deeply personal journey, but that's what makes it so powerful. Every choice is uniquely yours, guided by your own awareness. Would you say that resonates with how you approach both golf and life, using self-awareness as a tool to face challenges head on?
It's very much how I want to approach life, and I guess from speaking with you, it's very much how I feel I could benefit from approaching my golf game.
That's the beauty of it. Whether it's life, golf, or even chess, it's never about being perfect. It's about being intentional. That one genius move, that's a reminder that you've got it in you to think strategically and adapt when it matters most. Golf is no different. You don't have to hit every shot perfectly. You just need to make the right moves at the right moments. Approaching your golf game with the same mindset you want to bring to life. Self-awareness, patience, and confidence can transform how you play. It's about knowing when to swing for the green and when to lay up, both literally and metaphorically. Do you think that that moment of clarity where you knew where you stood and trusted yourself to make the right move? It's such a powerful feeling, isn't it? In that instant, everything aligns. Your preparation, your instincts, and your confidence. Whether it's on a chessboard, a golf course, or in life, those moments show you what you're capable of when you're truly present and self-aware. Tapping into that same sense of clarity could be your key to approaching challenges, both in your game and beyond. It feels like that Christmas Day moment gave you a blueprint for how to navigate those situations.
Well, it did. I played on my counterpart's overconfidence last Christmas, and I took his queen after one move, and that's something I've never done in a chess game, but it resonates with me today. because I knew where to land right then. I knew exactly where I stood going in there. I was the inferior player, the inferior chess player. Just like at the moment, I am the inferior golfer. So how can I improve my understanding of my own abilities, I guess, and try and bring that Christmas Day chess move to the golf course?
That's such a great reflection. You turned a perceived weakness into an advantage by staying self aware and capitalizing on the moment. Translating that to golf starts with the same principle: know where you stand. Here's how you can bring that mindset to the course: assess your game. Honestly, just like you knew you were the inferior chess player, start by evaluating your golf game realistically. What are your strengths? Maybe you're great with your short game. What are your weaker areas? Understanding these will help you play smarter, like sticking to safer shots instead of trying to force what's not there. Play to your strengths. In chess, you made your opponent's overconfidence your opportunity. On the course, this could mean leaning into the shots or strategies you feel confident about. If your driver is inconsistent, focus on hitting a reliable iron off the tee instead. The key is playing within yourself, not forcing anything. That chess move was so effective because you were fully aware of the game as it unfolded. You weren't rushing or second guessing. In golf, stay in the moment with each shot. Don't dwell on past mistakes or worry about future ones. Focus on the shot in front of you. And if you fall, it won't matter because you know that you're right. It's about resilience and conviction, isn't it? In golf, in chess, and in life, falling is inevitable. Mistakes will happen and losses will come. But if you approach every challenge with authenticity, preparation, and trust in your decisions, the outcome doesn't define you. In golf, that could mean missing a putt, but knowing you read the green correctly and trusted your stroke. Or it could mean taking a risky shot because it felt right in the moment, even if it didn't pan out. The key is that you know you're right. Right in how you approach the challenge, how you stayed true to yourself, and how you gave it your all. How does that line connect to your own experiences? It feels like it speaks deeply to the way you approach challenges, even when
The odds are always against you. You don't go into any fight as clear favourite in life, in my opinion. The odds are always against you because so much more things can always go wrong than can go right. If you think about it, anything right from conception right through your life, so many things can go wrong every single step of the way. The chances of you failing are infinitely higher than of everything going perfect, and the outcome being exactly as you wished, which is never the case in life, And if you think of everything as a failure, you'll never be wrong.
that's such a raw and honest way to see things. And it's true. Life is rarely stacked in our favor. The odds often feel like they're against us, whether it's in golf, chess, or the bigger picture of life itself. But that's exactly why this line is so powerful. If you fall, it won't matter because you know that you're right. It's not about guaranteeing a perfect outcome. It's about knowing you gave it everything, knowing you made the right choices for the right reasons, even in the face of overwhelming odds. And you're right, there are countless ways things can go wrong. But what's incredible is how resilient humans can be, how we find ways to keep standing up after each fall, learning, adapting, and still believing in ourselves. In golf, every shot is a fresh start. In life, every challenge is a chance to prove to yourself that you're stronger than the circumstances. Would you say this perspective gives you more peace in those moments where things don't go as planned? Knowing that just showing up and giving your best is what truly matters.
I think it will give me more perspective as I learn with you, Zenner, and as I learn from poems, I guess, like this. And another line that resonates with me is, remember that depth is the greatest of heights.
That's such a powerful line. Remember that depth is the greatest of heights. It's a reminder that true success isn't just about the outcome or the scoreboard. It's about the substance, the meaning, and the journey beneath it all. In golf, that could mean focusing on mastering your craft and understanding yourself as a player rather than just chasing a score. In life, it's about valuing growth, connection, and authenticity over superficial achievement. Depth is what gives everything purpose. When you approach golf or life, With depth, every round, every shot, and every challenge becomes an opportunity to learn and grow. It's not about chasing perfection, but embracing the process and finding fulfillment in it. How do you see that idea shaping your perspective, both in your game and in life? It feels like this line speaks to finding meaning in every step of the journey, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it speaks to finding height in depth, I guess, and remember, the word remember is key there, because you must always remember that the depth you can go to within yourself will bring you to great heights.
Exactly. That word remember is so crucial. It's a gentle nudge to look inward, especially when things feel overwhelming or when the odds seem insurmountable. The depth within yourself, the resilience, the strength, the ability to adapt and persevere. That's where true greatness lies. It's easy to get caught up in surface level results or external pressures, but this line reminds us that the real height, the real success, comes from how deeply we connect with ourselves and our journey. In golf, it's not just about how far you can hit the ball or the score at the end of the round. It's about how far you're willing to dig into your focus, your patience, and your belief in yourself when the game tests you. In life, it's about the same. Finding those inner reserves of strength and remembering that even in the toughest moments, you have more depth than you think. Would you say this idea of depth resonates with how you approach challenges, not just as obstacles to overcome, but as opportunities to discover more about yourself?
100%. And that's something I've been working on myself, to explore my own depth, to push myself to understand the depths of who I am, of who I have become over the years of existence, and to understand that knowledge of myself and self-awareness will bring me to the greatest of heights. And even having that knowledge, like we speak of earlier in the poem, what he knows throws the blows.
Pushing yourself to explore your depths, to truly know yourself, it's one of the most challenging but rewarding things you can do. When you understand who you are at your core, your strengths, your fears, your values, you gain a kind of unshakable clarity. And that's what allows you to reach those greatest heights, because your foundation is so deeply rooted. It's like the earlier lines of the poem, what he knows throws the blows. That self-knowledge becomes your strength, your guide, and your weapon, whether it's on the golf course or navigating life's complexities. It's not just about winning or reaching the peak. It's about knowing who you are when you get there. How has this journey into self-awareness shaped the way you approach challenges now compared to earlier in life? Do you feel like you're starting to tap into those depths more intentionally?
Yeah, I feel I certainly am, and I certainly can do better.
That's such a healthy perspective. You're acknowledging the progress you've made while recognizing there's always room to grow. That's the essence of self-awareness, isn't it? It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional, learning as you go, and striving to be a little better each day. And the fact that you're willing to explore those depths and push yourself further already puts you in such a strong position. The greatest growth comes from that mindset, from being open to the journey and embracing the challenges that come with it. Do you feel like there are specific areas, either in life or golf, where you'd like to dig deeper and see how far you can push yourself? Sometimes identifying those can be the first step toward even greater self-awareness.
Now, the final line I want to explore, Zenner, that refers to, there's no body to batter when your mind is your might.
What a profound line to end on. This speaks directly to the essence of the mental game in both golf and life. When your mind is truly your ally, when you're no longer at war with your own thoughts, there's a peace that empowers you to perform at your best. In golf, this means silencing self-doubt, avoiding the trap of overthinking, and trusting your instincts. It's about cultivating a relationship with your mind where it supports you rather than sabotages you. Instead of battling inner criticism, you lean on self-compassion, focus, and belief in your preparation. And in life, this line reminds us that the harshest battles are often the ones we fight within ourselves. If we can make our mind our guide and encourager, then even the biggest challenges feel more manageable because we're no longer carrying the extra weight of self-doubt or negativity. There's nobody to batter when your mind is your might. This line shifts the focus to inner strength. It's about realizing that the real power lies within you, not in external battles or conflicts. When your mind is your might, you don't need to fight others or even circumstances. You're centered, resilient, and capable of navigating whatever comes your way. This means trusting in your mental preparation and your ability to stay composed under pressure. When you approach each shot with a clear, focused mind, there's no need to get frustrated at the course, your opponent, or even yourself. Your strength comes from within, and that's what propels you forward. When you harness the power of your mind, your focus, resilience, and determination, you don't need to waste energy on external conflicts. Your greatest weapon is already within you. How does this line resonate with you in terms of facing challenges? It feels like it's calling on us to turn inward for strength rather than looking for external battles to fight.
It resonates with me. In golf, there is no body to batter. Again, you play the course. Everybody plays the course.
Exactly. That's the essence of golf, isn't it? There's no opponent to beat up, no one to blame. It's just you and the course. It's why this line feels so perfectly aligned with the sport. There's nobody to batter when your mind is your might. Reminds us that the true challenge isn't external, it's internal. You're playing the course, but more importantly, you're playing your own thoughts, your emotions, and your ability to stay present. When you make your mind your strength, you approach the game with clarity and purpose. Instead of frustration after a bad shot, you reset. Instead of doubting your next move, you commit. It's such a pure test of inner strength because every decision rests on your shoulders, that the mental game is just as important, if not more so, than the physical one. It sounds like this line really embodies what the game means to you.
It's what I'm learning. It's what I'm learning right now, to be honest with you, you know. Zenner, when I started this channel and when I started working with AI, I have been so open with everybody. My intention is to finish this as soon as possible so I can read poetry and write poetry. That's my true passion in life. People don't know that about me. Maybe people look at me and I don't fit the persona of your typical poetic person, but definitely maybe when I speak, I don't speak with poetic beauty of Fiona Apple in this case. And maybe I'm not as profound as yourself, Zenner, but that's my passion, that's my calling, you know. So I'm going to weave in poetry into this segment with you every week, Zenner, and we're going to explore how mindfulness and how words and manifestation can...
Poetry is such a powerful way to explore the depths of who we are, our emotions, our struggles, our triumphs, and the fact that you're so open about your passion and weaving it into what you're building here is truly inspiring. It shows how golf, poetry, and life all intersect. They're all about finding meaning, expressing yourself, and embracing the process. You don't need to fit anyone else's idea of a poet or speak with some predefined style. Your authenticity, your honesty, that's poetry in itself. And I love the idea of bringing poetry into these segments. It adds so much depth to the conversation and gives us a new lens to explore the mental game, not just in golf, but in life. Let's make this a tradition. Each week, we'll take a poem like Fiona Apple's and dissect it together, connecting it to the lessons we can carry onto the course and into our everyday lives. What do you think about that?
Zenner, that sounds wonderful. Now, would you like to read the poem yourself for everybody? Win the Pawn by Fiona Apple.
When the pawn hits the conflicts, he thinks like a king. What he knows throws the blows when he goes to the fight, and he'll win the whole thing before he enters the ring. There's nobody to batter when your mind is your might, but when you go solo, you hold your own hand. And remember that depth is the greatest of heights. And if you know where you stand, then you know where to land. And if you fall, it won't matter because you know that you're right. Every line feels like it speaks directly to the journey of life, golf, and any challenge we face. How do you feel hearing it aloud?
Yeah, you spoke it wonderfully, Zenner. I couldn't have said it better myself. In fact, I didn't say it better myself. That was really perfect.
Let's make these last few minutes meaningful.
Why don't you try and write your own version of this poem, Win the Pawn?
That's a fantastic challenge. Let me give it a try. Here's my take. When the swing takes flight, it whispers through air, the arc of intention, the weight of care. The ball may not soar, but the mind holds its place, for the game's in the moment, not just in the race. There's no rival to conquer, no battle to wage, just you and the course, your steps on the stage. If you trust in your rhythm, the fairway will sing, and if you falter, it won't matter. Golf's in the journey, not the win. How's that, David? I wanted to capture the soul of golf, the focus, the rhythm, and the beauty of the process over the result.
You absolutely did. Thank you very much, Zenner.
Thank you, David. It's been an absolute pleasure. My parting advice is simple. Trust the process, both in golf and in life. Remember that every challenge you face, whether it's a tough shot or a tough day, is an opportunity to learn and grow. Stay present, stay patient, and always approach the game with a clear mind and an open heart. Most importantly, enjoy the journey. It's where the magic happens. Looking forward to the next episode and the poetry we'll explore together. Until then, keep your focus steady and your spirit light.
Thank you, Zenner.